Get ready to level up your English
with English Podcast Adventures.
Hey there, welcome to English Podcast Adventures. I'm Sophia.
And I'm Michael.
We're excited to have you with us. Let's dive in and learn something new together.
So today we're going to talk about something really important for probably a lot of you listening. How to actually learn English effectively in, well, today's world, in 2025.
Right. It's changed so much.
It really has.
Right.
We want to explore how different it is now and honestly, how much smarter and quicker it can be to get fluent compared to maybe the old methods people remember.
Yeah, those old classroom methods.
Exactly. So think of this podcast as like your guide, your map to understanding and speaking English well, but faster. We're here to share the best new ways we found.
That's absolutely right. And our mission really for this podcast is to look at these new, smart, and let's be honest, fun ways to really boost your English skills.
Fun is key.
Totally. We've gathered a lot of information, looked at some fresh ideas, and we're going to break down the most helpful parts for you. And this isn't just theory, right?
No,
Yeah.
definitely not.
It's about practical things, stuff you can actually start doing, like today, to see a real difference.
So whether you're, getting ready for a big meeting, or maybe you just want to understand a new topic faster, or maybe you're just curious about learning languages more quickly, this podcast is for you. We'll give you really clear steps to improve your English. Our main goal is to show you strategies that make learning feel, well, less like hard work.
Less like a chore.
Exactly.
Huh.
And more like an interesting, maybe even exciting part of your day.
So think about this. Have you ever felt, really frustrated with those traditional English lessons?
Oh, I bet many have.
Felt like the ones with grammar rules that just felt boring and you couldn't remember them anyway.
Or just writing down lists and lists of words.
Yes, those lifeless lessons. We totally get that feeling. The old way can feel so difficult, and sometimes, honestly, it makes you want to just give up.
It really can. Demotivating.
But what if we told you there's a much more dynamic, interesting, and really effective way to learn English right now?
Yeah, that's exactly what we're diving into. This isn't about, sitting with heavy textbooks until your head hurts.
No more dusty books.
Right. It's about using the amazing tools and the knowledge we have today to make learning English feel less like this huge mountain to climb and more like you're kind of hacking the system.
It's hacking the system. I like that. What do you mean by that exactly?
Well, when we say hacking, we mean finding clever, smart, really efficient ways to get to your goal faster.
Okay. Like shortcuts, but good ones.
Exactly. Good shortcuts. You'll
Yeah.
discover methods that help you progress much, much faster and actually make the whole journey quite enjoyable.
Awesome. Okay, before we jump into the very first big strategy, just a quick friendly reminder from us.
Yes.
Please like, share, and subscribe. It genuinely helps us create more of these podcasts for you all.
It really does. Thanks, everyone.
Okay, so let's unpack this idea of the old way a bit more. Many of us, probably, started learning English with methods that, well, they belong in the past now. Think about it. Sitting quietly in a classroom, maybe doing endless grammar worksheets from some dusty old book.
Filling in the blanks.
Yeah. Or maybe a teacher just reading out vocabulary words and you had to just write them down and memorize them for a test.
Yep. Rote memorization.
For most people, that approach was just incredibly slow, often really boring.
So boring.
And it didn't actually help much with speaking English in real life, did it?
Let's be really honest here. Learning English the old way, it's kind of dead. It's just not effective anymore.
Harsh, but maybe true.
Well, think about it. Those traditional methods, like trying to memorize tons of words without context, or those grammar drills that felt like they went on forever,
Oh, yes.
they just don't work well. And they certainly don't feel fun for learners today. And why is that?
The world's different.
Exactly. The world has changed so much. We live in a digital age now. We can find information like that on our phones.
Instantly.
So relying only on those old practices, it's like, I don't know, trying to send an email with a pigeon.
Huh. Okay, good analogy.
It makes the old way feel incredibly slow, inefficient. And honestly, it often makes learners feel kind of sad, maybe frustrated.
Yeah, and give up.
And give up, exactly,
Yeah.
before they even reach their goals. Because it just can't keep up with, how fast life moves now or how much real English is actually available to us everywhere, every day.
Okay, so that's the old way. Let's talk about the new way, because this is where it gets exciting.
Right.
Forget all that slow, kind of painful, traditional stuff. The modern way to learn English, especially right now in 2025, it's all about three things. Speed, smart tools, and what we're calling vibes.
Speed, smart tools, and vibes. I like it.
It's a totally different ballgame now. Much faster, much more engaging.
And each of those parts is super important, right? When you talk about speed, what we really mean is making faster progress. Like you shouldn't have to spend years and years just to feel okay having a simple conversation.
Totally agree. Get there quicker.
Then smart tools. That's all the amazing tech we have now, like AI companions you can talk to or specialized apps right on your phone. We'll get into those.
Cool.
And vibes. That just means keeping your learning interesting, engaging, fun, making English feel like a natural, enjoyable part of your life.
Not just homework.
Exactly, not just some task you have to do. This whole new approach, it really helps you learn faster and, crucially, enjoy the process so you stick with it.
Okay, so what's the ultimate goal then? What's the big promise of using these new methods?
Well, it's not just about passing a test, or getting a certificate.
Right, not just ticking a box.
No. The real goal here, the big promise, is to actually sound fluent, to be able to speak English naturally, confidently, so you can really connect with people, share your ideas, understand them.
That's a really important distinction, isn't it? Academic English versus real-world fluency.
It is, because knowing English for an exam might get you a good grade, sure, but being able to actually use English naturally in a conversation, that's what opens up the world.
How so?
Well, it lets you connect with different cultures, talk to people from all over. Sounding natural and confident, that's the ultimate aim for so many learners because it unlocks so many opportunities.
Like what kind of opportunities?
Imagine being able to, I don't know, join an international video call for work and feel comfortable speaking up.
Yeah, that's huge.
Or watching movies without needing subtitles all the time.
Right.
Or just, striking up a friendly chat with someone you meet while traveling. Fluency isn't just about vocabulary lists. It's about unlocking a richer, more connected life where you can genuinely express yourself and understand others better.
That sounds amazing. So, okay, how do we actually do this? Let's get practical. Let's dive into some of these powerful modern strategies for mastering English.
Let's do it.
And we're starting with something that sounds almost like science fiction, but it's real. Using AI as your personal English coach.
Yeah, this is fascinating.
Yeah.
Because AI is completely changing how we even think about language tutoring.
Oh.
Well, traditionally, if you wanted to practice speaking, you needed a human tutor.
Right. Find a teacher, schedule lessons.
Exactly. But that often comes with challenges. First, it can be pretty expensive.
Definitely.
Finding a time that works for both your schedule and the tutor's schedule can be a real pain.
Yeah, coordinating can be tough.
And for a lot of learners, there's that feeling of, being shy or uncomfortable.
Yeah.
That awkward eye contact when you're trying to practice with a real person judging you or feeling judged.
Totally. The pressure is real.
This is where AI just changes the game. It offers a super accessible, usually much more affordable alternative. And you don't have to worry about feeling judged or shy.
And we're talking about AI that's easy to access, right? It's stuff people can use now.
Absolutely. Think about really powerful tools that many people already know, like ChatGPT or Gemini from Google or Pi AI.
Okay.
These aren't just for searching the web anymore. They're like intelligent conversation partners. You can actually talk with them.
Wow. So they can hold a conversation.
Well, yeah. These advanced AIs can have pretty detailed conversations. They can understand what you're saying, respond thoughtfully, almost like a real human.
So what could you use them for, practice-wise?
Anything, really.
Yeah.
Say you want to practice small talk for a job interview.
Okay.
Just tell the AI. It can role-play that scenario with you instantly.
What?
Or maybe you need help with a specific grammar point you're struggling with.
Yeah, like present perfect tense. Always tricky.
Right. Just ask the AI, and it can create practice exercises just for you right then and there. It's like having an English tutor in your pocket, available 24/7, without any of the downsides we just talked about.
That sounds incredibly useful. And we found a fantastic pro tip in the material we looked at, which sounds almost too simple, but apparently it's super effective.
Oh, yeah. What is it?
It's this. Talk to AI out loud every day for 30 minutes like you're on a call. Use your phone.
Ah, yes. That's brilliant.
It really is that easy. Just talk to your phone.
The beauty of it is how practical and, importantly, private it is. You can put any topic you want. Maybe describe your day, talk about a news article you read, practice asking directions, whatever.
Anything at all.
The key thing is you're speaking out loud. This is so crucial for building what they call muscle memory in your mouth, your tongue, for making those English sounds correctly.
Muscle memory for speaking, like riding a bike.
Kind of. Your mouth learns the movements so they become automatic. You don't have to think so hard about how to say the words because you're just talking to your phone.
Nobody needs to know.
Exactly. No one else needs to hear you if you feel shy.
Yeah.
This totally removes the pressure, that fear of embarrassment that often stops learners from actually practicing speaking.
That makes so much sense.
And this regular kind of low-stakes practice, that's what really builds your confidence and makes speaking patterns feel more natural over time.
So just to sum up the AI coach idea, the main benefits are pretty clear. You get instant, easy practice whenever you want.
Yep, 24/7 access.
The conversation can feel surprisingly tailored to you, and it's just a fantastic way to get over that shyness, that speaking anxiety.
And just to add one more thought on that, this consistent low-pressure practice is gold. It really is. It builds your speaking confidence bit by bit. It lets you try out new words, new grammar structures, without that fear of being judged or making a mistake in front of someone. It's all about building that muscle memory for speaking.
Getting your mouth used to English.
Exactly. So the words flow more naturally when you are in a real conversation. It's like, yeah, go into the gym, but for your English-speaking muscles.
I love that. Okay, let's move to our second strategy. This one is about getting, quote, big brain energy in your English learning.
Big brain energy. Okay, intriguing.
It involves using podcasts like this one or videos and subtitles in a really smart way. Now, a lot of people think, oh, I watch movies in English, I'm learning, and they just kind of relax and zone out.
Right, passive listening.
And while just listening passively can help a tiny bit, it's often not enough to make, significant progress, right?
That's a really crucial point. Just letting the English wash over you. It probably won't make you fluent on its own. For real improvement, you need that big brain energy.
Yeah.
Which basically means active, focused engagement.
Active listening.
Active listening, active learning. This method turns just watching or listening into like a powerful practice session.
Yeah.
You're not just hearing the sounds, you're actively analyzing them, breaking them down, making them your own.
Okay, so big brain energy means really focusing.
Yeah, fully switched on, paying close attention, and actually working with the material mentally.
So what's the method then? How do you do it?
Okay, so here's the process. You start with, say, a YouTube video or a podcast episode you find interesting. Step 1. Listen once with the English subtitles on. This helps you connect the sounds you're hearing to the actual words written down.
Okay, see it and hear it.
Exactly. Then step 2, and this is really important, listen again, but without the subtitles.
Ah, okay. Take the training wheels off.
Pretty much. This forces your ears to really work, to understand based on sound alone, without the visual crutch of the text.
Got it. Listen with subs, then without, but is that it?
No, you can't stop there if you want that big brain energy. You need to add the active components.
Okay, what are those?
First, rewind. Go back over sections you didn't quite catch or found difficult. Listen again.
Repetition.
Yes. Then try to mimic the tone. Pay attention to how the speaker's voice sounds. Like, if they ask a question, does their voice go up at the end?
Intonation.
Exactly. Intonation. If it's just a statement, does it generally go down? Notice the stress, the emotion in their voice. Try to copy them.
Okay, copy the music of the language.
Well put. And maybe most importantly, pause and repeat tricky phrases. Don't just listen passively, say the phrases out loud yourself. Practice the rhythm, how the words link together.
So you're actively speaking too.
Yes, that's where the real learning happens. You're moving from just receiving the language to actually producing it yourself.
Now, to really take this up a notch, to level up your practice, the material suggested something really powerful.
What's that?
Record yourself repeating the sentence.
Oh, yes. This is a game changer.
Why is it so effective, recording yourself?
Because the power of comparing your own speech to a native speaker's is immense. When you record yourself saying a phrase, and then you listen back, maybe right after hearing the original speaker.
Immediate comparison.
Exactly. You can pinpoint exactly where your pronunciation differs or where your intonation sounds a bit off. Maybe you're not stressing the right word or the sound isn't quite right.
You become your own teacher, in a way.
Precisely. It's a direct feedback loop. You hear yourself, you identify the gap, and you can work on fixing it. This is incredibly effective for, as the source puts it, fixing your accent.
Which it doesn't mean losing your own accent entirely, right?
No, not at all. It's more about improving clarity, pronunciation, intonation, making yourself easily understood, and sounding more natural to native listeners. You get better bit by bit every day because you're constantly refining how you speak based on what you actually hear yourself saying.
So By using podcasts and subtitles this way systematically, actively you're not just listening anymore. You're mimicking, repeating, recording, comparing.
Right. You're actively participating, copying, and self-correcting.
Which leads to noticeable improvement every day.
Absolutely. That conscious repetition, that direct comparison, it solidifies the new sounds and speech patterns in your brain. Your brain starts recognizing them. Your mouth muscles get used to producing them, and gradually your speech becomes smoother, more natural.
Like building muscle memory again.
Exactly. It's like building a strong foundation, brick by brick. Each small effort adds up to a really significant result over time.
Okay, this is great stuff. Let's move on to strategy number 3. This one tackles a really common issue, focusing too much on single words.
Yes, vocabulary lists.
Right. The material we looked at makes a crucial point. Advanced English isn't about big, fancy words. It's about how you use them.
This is such a common trap for learners. They think, if I just memorize enough difficult words, I'll sound advanced.
Yeah, impress people with big words.
But the reality is, just knowing a word in isolation often tells you very little about how it's actually used in a real sentence.
Right. Like what words does it usually go with?
Exactly. Or what's the subtle difference in meaning compared to a similar word? Natural language isn't really built word by single word. It's built more in chunks, phrases, common sentence structures.
Chunks, like pre-made pieces.
Yeah, linguists often call them lexical chunks. Think of it like building with Legos. You don't just stick individual tiny studs together one by one.
No, use the bigger blocks, the pre-assembled bits sometimes.
Exactly. You use those pre-made blocks to build faster and create stronger structures. Language is kind of similar.
Okay, interesting. And the material had a really clear example of this, didn't it?
It did. Instead of just learning benevolent kind.
Which is what you find in a basic dictionary lookup.
Right. Just knowing benevolent means kind is, well, it's okay, but it doesn't really teach you how to use the word naturally in a conversation.
It doesn't tell you much.
No, it doesn't tell you. It often describes someone's character or their intentions or their actions towards others. But look at the example sentence provided. She had a benevolent smile that made everyone feel welcome.
Ah, okay. That's much richer.
So much more useful. You learn instantly that benevolent can describe a smile, implying kindness through the smile. You also learn that benevolent smile is a natural pairing of words, what we call a collocation.
Collocation, words that often go together.
Precisely. Like we say, heavy rain, not usually strong rain, or make a decision, not do a decision. These natural partnerships are key. And that example sentence shows you how to use benevolent in a real context, in a way this simple definition never could.
So learning the whole sentence is way better than just the word and its definition.
Way better. This is how you start to sound more like a native speaker by using words in their natural environments, with their usual word friends.
So how do we actually use this strategy? How do we learn sentences instead of words?
It's about actively collecting whole sentences whenever you encounter English.
Collecting them, like stamps.
Huh. Kind of. Instead of just jotting down single words in your notebook when you learn them, make an effort to copy the entire sentence they came from.
Where can you find these sentences?
Anywhere you find natural English. You can copy sentences from books, movies, TV shows, podcasts, articles, even AI chats, wherever real English is being used.
Okay, so build a sentence collection.
Yes. But the key isn't just to collect them, it's to practice saying them naturally.
Ah, okay. Speak them out loud.
Repeatedly. Understand their rhythm, internalize the complete idea they express, make them part of your active language memory.
How could you organize them?
You could use flashcards with the sentence on one side, maybe a translation or explanation on the other, or keep a dedicated notebook just for these stolen sentences, as the source calls them.
Stolen sentences, I like that.
And review them regularly. Say them out loud every day. The more you repeat them, the more natural they'll feel when you need to use a similar structure or phrase in a real conversation.
This strategy seems incredibly powerful for bridging the gap between just knowing words and actually sounding natural, right? Improving fluency in actual conversations.
It absolutely is.
Yeah.
Because when you have a bank of these natural sentences, these chunks, ready in your mind, speaking becomes less about that slow, awkward process of translating word by word from your native language.
Which is what makes people sound hesitant or robotic sometimes.
Exactly. Instead, it becomes more about retrieving and delivering complete flowing thoughts. It's like having ready-made expressions that just pop out easily, making your conversations feel much smoother, more confident, and, well, more like a native speaker. You're not building every sentence from scratch anymore.
Brilliant. Okay, strategy number 4. Get ready. because this one sounds a little wild at first.
Oh, intriguing.
The material we reviewed literally calls it create a fake English life.
A fake English life. Okay, what does that mean? Are we talking about espionage?
No, nothing like that. This idea of creating a fake English life, it's not about pretending to be someone else.
Okay.
It's about deliberately designing your everyday environment so that you are constantly and often subconsciously surrounded by English.
Immersion, but maybe in a more pervasive way.
Exactly. Pervasive immersion, making English sort of inescapable in your daily routine so you're absorbing it all the time, even when you're not actively studying.
Okay, I see. So it's about maximizing exposure in everyday situations.
Precisely. So what does this look like in practice? It often starts with your digital world.
Makes sense. We spend so much time there.
Right. So the tip is turn your phone, your apps, your playlists, your notes, everything into English. Change the language settings.
That's a simple but really clever first step.
Yeah. Why is it so effective?
Because by changing the language settings on your phone, your computer, your social media, you force yourself to interact with English constantly. Every time you check a notification, open an app, search for something, look at the time.
You're seeing and using English words.
Exactly. Your brain starts to passively absorb all this functional vocabulary related to your daily digital life. Words like settings, send, delete, upload, notification, profile.
Stuff you use all the time anyway.
Right. It's constant, relevant exposure, and it doesn't feel like a formal lesson at all. You just learn words like swipe, tap, scroll, naturally, just by using your devices as you normally would.
That's smart. And there was a great bonus tip connected to this, especially for social media users.
Oh, yeah.
It was, if you're scrolling Instagram or watching TikTok, make sure it's English content.
Curate your feed for learning.
Yes. And specifically, the material recommended following faceless English content creators.
Faceless. Why faceless?
That's a really interesting point. The idea is that it helps you focus purely on the language being used without getting distracted by the creator's personality, appearance, or maybe even their opinions if it's a celebrity type.
I see. So you're just hearing authentic English being used for its purpose, like someone explaining how to cook something or telling a story or sharing facts.
Exactly. You can find channels about history, science, travel, hobbies, anything really, all in English, often without even seeing the speaker. It really helps you tune into how people speak naturally in different contexts.
That's a clever angle. Less distraction, more language focus.
So what's the overall result of creating this fake English life, surrounding yourself with English constantly?
Well, the material puts it quite excitingly. You'll pick up phrases, slang, and pronunciation without even trying.
Without even trying, is that possible?
It taps into the power of subconscious learning.
Learning without realizing you're learning.
Pretty much. When you're constantly exposed to authentic language in relaxed, everyday contexts, your brain naturally starts to notice patterns. It picks up common phrases, understands the rhythm, even absorbs new slang terms.
Like osmosis.
Sort of. You might hear a new phrase on a TikTok video, then hear it again in a podcast, and without consciously memorizing it, it just sort of sinks in. It becomes part of your passive understanding, and eventually, your active use.
Wow.
This kind of consistent, low-effort exposure is incredibly effective for internalizing the nuances, the flow, the real feel of the English language. It's like learning the lyrics to a song just because you've heard it playing in the background so many times.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. This fake English life sounds pretty real in its benefits.
It really works.
All right, let's tackle strategy number 5. This one might challenge some people's instincts about learning. It's called speak first, fix later.
The perfectionism problem.
Exactly. The material we looked at makes a bold claim. In 2025, perfection is overrated.
This is so crucial because that fear of making mistakes, it's honestly one of the biggest barriers for English learners, especially when it comes to speaking practice.
People are afraid to sound stupid.
Totally. Many learners wait. They think, I'll start speaking when my grammar is perfect or when I know enough vocabulary. But that day often never comes.
It's a trap.
It really is a trap. It holds you back from getting the essential practice you need, and you end up slowing down your own progress dramatically. Fluency, that ability to speak smoothly and easily, doesn't come from avoiding mistakes. It comes from making them and learning from them.
So the advice is pretty direct and actually quite liberating.
What is it?
Just talk, make mistakes, learn from them.
Yes, exactly. Think of mistakes not as failures, but as valuable feedback. Data points.
Data points. I like that. Less emotional.
Right. Every time you say something that isn't quite right, it's an opportunity. It shows you where there's a gap in your knowledge. Maybe it's a grammar rule, pronunciation issue, or you use the wrong word.
So mistakes guide your learning.
Precisely. They show you what you need to work on next. Mistakes are stepping stones, not roadblocks.
Yeah,
If you don't make them, you don't get that crucial information you need to adjust and improve.
It's like learning any skill, really.
Absolutely. Like learning to ride a bike, remember, you're probably going to fall a few times. But each fall teaches you something about balance, about steering. You adjust, you get back on. Speaking is the same.
And the material shared a great personal anecdote that illustrates this perfectly.
Oh, yeah?
The writer said, "What I do, I talk to my phone like it's a podcast episode every day. No script, just vibes and practice."
Ah. Similar to the AI tip, but even simpler maybe. Just talking to yourself.
Yeah. And why is that so effective?
It's a brilliant, super low-pressure way to get daily, spontaneous speaking practice. There's no audience, no judgment, just you articulating your thoughts in English.
What would you talk about?
Anything.
Yeah.
Your day, your plans for the weekend, your opinion on a movie you watched, something you learned, it doesn't matter. The act of spontaneously finding words, structuring sentences on the fly, that's what develops fluency.
Without the pressure of a real conversation.
Exactly. It's pure, uninhibited practice that builds confidence and makes the act of speaking feel less scary and more automatic for when you are in real-world situations.
So the key message here for everyone listening is prioritize speaking. Don't wait.
Please don't wait.
Don't wait for the perfect moment or the perfect sentence. Just find ways to talk. Use your voice.
And remember, consistent speaking, even if it's full of mistakes initially, is the absolute fastest route to building both fluency and confidence. Every word you utter, perfect or not, moves you forward.
Speak first, fix later. Got it.
The more you speak, the more natural it feels, and the quicker you'll achieve that smooth conversational flow.
Okay, strategy number 6. This is where we get into some specific tech tools that, as the source puts it, feel like cheating, but aren't.
Ooh, tech shortcuts. Always popular. These sound really next level.
They kind of are.
That's a great description. These aren't just general apps. They're specialized tools that offer unique capabilities that just didn't exist, a few years ago.
And they can seriously speed things up.
They really can. By targeting specific challenges in very focused ways, they give you learning superpowers that previously might have required, like a dedicated, expensive specialist coach.
So when we say feel like cheating, it means they make things so much easier and faster, it almost feels unfair.
Exactly.
Right.
But it's totally legitimate and, frankly, really smart to use them.
Okay, let's name some names. First up, 11 Labs. What does that do?
11 Labs is fascinating. Its main function in this context is to make your voice sound native.
Wait, it changes my voice. How?
Well, you can record yourself saying something in English or even type text, and the AI can generate audio of that same text spoken in a very natural-sounding native English accent. Some versions might even clone your voice style, but with native pronunciation.
Whoa. Okay, how is that helpful for learning?
It's incredibly powerful because it lets you hear exactly how your words, the sentences you want to say, could sound with native-like pronunciation and intonation.
Ah, so you can compare.
Precisely. You record yourself saying, "Hello, how are you today?" Then you use 11 Labs to generate a native version of the exact same sentence. You listen to both back to back.
And you'd hear the differences in rhythm, stress, sounds.
Exactly. You get a crystal clear audio target to aim for. It helps you refine your pronunciation, your intonation, your stress patterns, making that idea of a native accent something tangible you can actually hear and mimic effectively.
Okay, that sounds very cool. Next tool mentioned, Replica or Character AI.
Right. These are designed to help you practice combos like you're texting a friend.
So AI chat buddies.
Basically, yes. They're AI chatbots, but often designed to be more conversational, maybe even develop a kind of personality or remember past conversations.
And the benefit?
The huge benefit is having a conversational partner available 24/7 for relaxed, text-based practice.
No scheduling needed.
Nope. You can practice everyday chit-chat, discuss your hobbies, maybe even role-play different scenarios like ordering food or asking for help, all through texting.
Takes the pressure off real-time speaking, maybe.
Exactly. It allows you to focus on choosing words, structuring sentences, using idioms or slang, all in a low-stress, asynchronous environment. It's great for building vocabulary and conversational flow, especially for informal English, without the anxiety of a live conversation.
Makes sense. And the last pair of tools mentioned were Capsaz or Monaco. What's their special trick?
These are really innovative. They let you convert blog posts to audio or video, then shadow them.
Convert text to audio or video. How?
So imagine you find an interesting English article online, maybe a news story or a blog post. These tools can take that written text and turn it into natural-sounding audio, often read by an AI voice, or even create a simple video with an AI avatar speaking the text.
Okay, and then you shadow them. What's shadowing?
Shadowing is a technique where you listen to the native speaker audio and try to speak along with them at almost the exact same time, like you're their shadow or echo.
Ah, speaking simultaneously with the recording.
Yes. It forces you to match the native speaker's pace, their rhythm, their intonation, the way they link words together. It's a very active form of listening and speaking practice.
What does that improve specifically?
It directly improves your fluency, your prosody, the rhythm and intonation of speech, and how natural your delivery sounds. It helps you stop speaking word by word and start connecting your speech smoothly, just like native speakers do, all based on authentic English content you're interested in.
Wow, these tools do sound powerful.
They really are.
So just to recap this section, these specialized tech tools give learners abilities that were, frankly, unimaginable or very hard to access before.
Definitely. You're making personalized, highly effective practice much more accessible and, well, potent than ever.
They allow for really targeted practice on specific areas, right? Like pronunciation with 11 Labs, casual chat with Replica, or speech flow with Caps's Monaco.
Exactly. That personalized feedback and tailored practice makes the whole learning process significantly more efficient, really customized to individual needs. It lets learners accelerate their progress in ways that older, one-size-fits-all methods just couldn't.
Okay, we're nearing the end of our strategies. The final one, number 7, isn't a tool or a technique exactly. It's more about mindset.
The psychology of learning. Crucial.
It's about the power of obsession over interest.
Ooh, strong word, obsession.
It is. The material we studied drew a really stark distinction. If you're just interested in English, you'll make excuses. But if you're obsessed, you'll find time.
Wow. Okay, let's unpack that. What's the difference between interest and obsession in this context?
Well, interest is good, right? But it can be passive.
Right. Like, yeah, I'm interested in learning English someday.
Exactly. When you're just interested, it's easy to let other things take priority. Life gets busy and English practice gets pushed to the bottom of the list. You make excuses, even good ones.
I'm too tired tonight. I don't have time this week.
We've all been there. But if you're obsessed, English learning becomes a non-negotiable priority.
So obsession here means intense focus, passion, drive.
Yes. It's not something you might do if you feel like it. It's something you feel compelled to do, something you actively make time for because you have this burning desire to achieve your goal.
That makes sense. And that mindset shift must directly impact your time management and consistency, right?
Absolutely. Someone who is obsessed isn't waiting for free time to magically appear. They find or create the time. Maybe they wake up 30 minutes earlier, use their commute time, listen to podcasts while doing chores.
They integrate it into their life proactively.
Exactly. And we know consistency is the bedrock of language learning. Practicing every single day, even for short periods, yields far greater results than occasional marathon study sessions followed by long breaks. An obsessed mindset naturally fuels that daily consistency. You're not looking for reasons not to practice. You're actively seeking opportunities to engage with the language.
It changes learning from a task into like a dedicated pursuit, something you're passionate about.
Right.
And the outcome of this difference in mindset, the material puts it very bluntly, says that's the difference between people who speak like natives and people who just dream about it.
Wow. That's a powerful statement. Linking obsession directly to native-like fluency.
It suggests that reaching that truly high level isn't just about talent or luck. It's largely the result of sustained dedication, relentless practice, and that deep, driving passion for the language.
Those who become genuinely obsessed in this positive sense are the ones who constantly push themselves, find creative ways to practice, immerse themselves fully, and aren't afraid to make mistakes. That intense commitment is what ultimately leads to the kind of fluency that might seem unattainable to someone who's only casually interested. It's a strong message about commitment. Okay, as we get ready to sort of summarize everything and wrap up, just one more quick reminder for everyone listening.
Please do.
Please like, share, and subscribe. It genuinely makes a big difference and helps us continue making these podcasts.
Yes, thank you all so much.
Okay, so as we conclude this podcast, let's quickly recap the main themes we've explored today. The core message really is quite optimistic. English isn't hard in 2025.
It really doesn't have to be. It's a totally different learning landscape now.
Yeah.
The fundamental shift is moving away from those old, slow, often boring methods.
Right.
And instead, playing it smart, using modern tools, effective techniques, and the right mindset.
So what are the key action points people should remember?
I think the big ones are: stop just memorizing random grammar rules in isolation. Instead, start living the language.
Make it part of your life.
Exactly. Integrate English into your daily routine in meaningful ways. And practically, speak every day, even if it's just talking to your phone or an AI.
But get those speaking muscles working.
Definitely. Record yourself sometimes. Compare yourself to native speakers to improve pronunciation and flow. Use AI. It's like having a tireless, non-judgmental tutor in your pocket. And crucially, keep it fun. Find ways to make learning enjoyable for you. If you're not enjoying it, you're much less likely to stick with it long enough to see real results.
That's so true. What really strikes me is how these newer approaches genuinely make learning English feel more engaging, more enjoyable, and way less like a chore.
It's a huge paradigm shift. By integrating English into activities you already do, like changing your phone settings, actively listening to podcasts you like, chatting with an AI about your interests, the whole process becomes more organic and natural.
Less like sitting down for a formal, maybe dreaded study session.
Exactly. It transforms learning from something that feels like a burden into something that feels more like an adventure, a discovery.
So we kicked off this podcast by mentioning the idea of a cheat code for learning English.
We did.
And looking back at all these strategies, AI tutors, active listening, stealing sentences, fake English life, speaking without fear, tech tools, obsessionism, it really does feel like we've uncovered some serious cheat codes.
I agree. And we can finish with that playful but really impactful quote from the material. Learning English fast isn't illegal.
Huh. Good to know.
But with these tips, it's going to feel like it.
I love that. It leaves you with a sense of excitement, right? This feeling that rapid progress, real fluency is actually within reach for you, the listener.
Absolutely. The power is there.
Okay, before we sign off, we want to leave you with a final thought, something to mull over after the podcast ends.
A little homework.
Just a little thinking homework. Here it is. If you could transform just one part of your current English learning that feels boring right now into something genuinely fun or engaging using the ideas we discussed today, what would that part be? And how specifically would you apply one of these strategies to make that change?
Ooh, that's a great reflective question.
Maybe it's turning grammar drills into role-playing conversations with AI, or changing passive movie watching into active shadowing practice. Think about your biggest current frustration and how one of these cheat codes could flip it into something you actually look forward to.
And maybe building on that. How could you combine multiple strategies for even greater impact? Like, what if you used your fake English life exposure to find cool sentences to steal and then practice saying those sentences out loud using the recording and comparison technique?
Ooh, synergy.
Right. Or what if you used AI chat to practice conversations based on topics you heard in an English podcast you actively listen to? And maybe, how could you share these cheat codes with a friend or family member who's also learning? Teaching someone else is a great way to solidify your own understanding.
Lots of possibilities to explore.
The potential for faster, more enjoyable learning is massive once you start thinking this way.
Fantastic. Well, one last time, please like, share, and subscribe to English Podcast Adventures.
Thank you all so much for tuning in and spending this time with us.
We really hope you feel empowered and excited to try out these new strategies on your own English learning journey. Go experiment, have fun, and see how fast you can progress. We'll catch you on the next podcast.